believe how God has given us something in Neolife that has allowed us to see not only our own personal transformation with regards to health, but so many other people. And so the information here may be somewhat new to some of you. Some of you may be a refresher. I'm going to tell you a lot of it's just real common sense because we, again, believe that God designed us to be healthy and whole in our best condition. And if we give our bodies what they naturally need, we have the ability to heal, to mend, to restore, to have all this natural immunity and strength and vitality that is so necessary to live life at a super high level. And I think every single one of us, there are three areas that I think that we think about when it comes to health, and we'll dive into some of these tonight. But one is longevity. I look at my parents and just being able to live long on the earth. One of the promises of God is, it will go well with you and you'll live long on the earth. And there's longevity, but there's also this thing that is health and just wellness. But then there's also this thing called performance, and not just being able to kind of exist in a okay state, but to bring your best to what you're doing. So tonight, I'm super excited to welcome my brother, Dwight Johnson. He is not only younger than me and better looking, but he's also smarter. So I am going to ask him to share just a little bit of his wisdom and experience with Neolife and these products. And so without any further ado, Dwight, take it away.
Thank you, Chad. Those of us who know us know that Chad was joking.
Just about the younger. Dwight's really older. Yeah.
There you go. No, I want to thank you guys for being on the call. We're going to talk about something that is so precious to me because when I came across Neolife, I had lost it, and that is my health. I don't know what state of health you guys are in. Some of you guys may be living optimal. I know the number one complaint to doctors a few years ago was I'm tired. Just not having the energy. I'm hearing more and more brain fog. People can't think clearly. They don't have that mental sharpness that they used to have. And as Chad always says, life is an energy game. And if you don't have the energy, you aren't being the optimal person that you were called to be. You aren't being the best mom, the best dad, the best coworker, best teacher, if you're homeschooling, whatever it may be. And so I think health is such an important part of our lives, and it gets me excited because I had lost it at 26 years of age. I grew up in a home that we were very health focused, but being a young man, I kind of rebelled against that and was doing way too many all-nighters, a lot of Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, fast food, craft shows, and I had run myself into this adrenal failure and couldn't pull myself out of bed. I was tired. I actually had boils on my leg, which I did not like to tell anyone. They were extremely painful. So I was a point of really frustrated about my health, and I started looking everywhere. Of course, went back to my mother, who told me get on good supplements. I went to GNC, started taking bad supplements because I didn't know the difference. And I took a lot of supplements, drank a lot of water, slept, all the things that I knew to do, and it was getting worse. So when my cousin Alan was coming to town to talk about supplements, I probably never would have gone to the presentation other than the fact that I was desperate. And I had also seen kind of a little bit of the transformation of his wife, who had gone through some major health issues. And a lot of those health issues were kind of female health issues. So being a young guy that wasn't married, I didn't really want to be on those email chains about female health issues. So I opted out of those emails. It wasn't until I saw pictures later of her radiant and looking young and just full of energy. And I'm going, oh my goodness, something's working in her life. I mean, she went from really, really feeling crummy to really looking amazing and running and doing things that she hadn't done in years. And so I went to the presentation. I went there with arms crossed, very skeptical. But when he started sharing about the science and the longevity of the company, the integrity of what they had done, the fact that they're pharmaceutically licensed, they talked about Dr. Arthur First and the whole scientific advisory board and the research they had done and the different breakthroughs they had in the area of nutrition. I was really excited that there might be hope for my health condition. When I asked him, did they help with boils? I loved his honesty. He looked at me, he goes, number one, he asked, who do you know with boils? And, I told him a really good friend of mine, really close friend. I actually confessed and told him it was me. I loved his answer. He said, you know what, Dwight, I don't know. I don't know if they help with boils. What I do know is it boosts immunity. What I do know is can give you more energy, and I know it will help you have a better quality of life. He goes, but let's try it out. Let's see if it works. And I'm happy to say within 3 to 4 days, the pain of the boils started to go away. And that was big hope for me because they were very painful. I also started to sleep good at night, and that was a big deal. I don't know if any of you have ever had trouble sleeping at night, but that's very frustrating. Not being able to sleep and being completely exhausted, and then waking up the next day and feeling you got to face it again. And I finally slept good at night. I woke up with energy, and within about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, even my family members started noticing a difference. I walked into my brother-in-law's coffee shop and he was completely shocked. He goes, Dwight, are you taking those supplements Alan's selling? And I said, I am. And he goes, I can tell. You look different. The dark circles under your eyes are gone. You look like a totally different person. And I'm happy to say within a month, all the symptoms were gone. The boils were gone. The energy was up. I was feeling like $1,000,000. It got me so excited. I actually flew down to Neolife headquarters, met the scientific advisory board, interrogated them because I want to know why I was feeling better. What are you putting in this stuff? And really kind of nerded out on this stuff. But I want to share just a little bit about the power in these supplements. And so after being around now for almost 63 years, Neolife has made more breakthroughs in the area of nutrition than pretty much the nutrition industry combined. They really, really have done their homework, and they've worked hard to deliver those nutrients to us. First one I want to talk about is Pro Vitality. It sounds very simple. It's 4 simple supplements in a little daily packet, but I want to start with Treanin. Treanin is 3-in-1. It's grain oils. And what we know, everybody says cellular nutrition nowadays. Everybody talks about cellular nutrition. But really what's important is that nutrition is getting into your cells. Our bodies are made up of 73 plus or minus trillion cells. So we got a lot of cells in our body and we need to feed those cells. Well, 50% of that cell membrane is made up of these lipids and sterols. And they allow the softness and the pliableness of the cell to actually allow nutrients in and toxins out. And, I used to ask people all the time, what do you get when you have 73 trillion toxic, starved cells? And everybody started pointing at their spouse, and we decided that was a bad question to ask. We don't ask that anymore. But the bottom line is that you start feeling sluggish. You start losing that energy that you used to have. And so this study was so amazing. As a hospital study, the people in the test group were actually leaving the hospital because they were getting such great results. And it wasn't until they went back to the hospital to get more of this drug they thought, they didn't know was a food supplement, that they just put back into our bodies what we have taken out of our food. So, bread. Take bread, for instance. I don't know how many of you have had a piece of bread mold in the last couple of years. It doesn't mold anymore. It turns into a hockey puck, but it doesn't mold unless you've made it yourself out of whole grains, because they've taken the lipids and sterols, they've taken the life out of the bread in order to extend shelf life. And so what we've done with our processing of food, if it had the nutrients in the first place, we've taken them out in the processing, and that's why our cells are starving. But what was rad about this is they went back, they got it, they started making this product. That was the founding of Neolife. That's what started on that Treanin oils. Texas A&M University was doing research on our Treanin, and they found that if you're taking Treanin, you get 50% more nutrition from the food you're already eating. And that's a big deal, because the whole reason I eat food, other than the fact that it tastes good, I eat food because I want the nutritional value. And if it's not getting into my cells, it's either waste or it's worse waste, which means it starts building up as fat. And we don't want that either. And so I look at it and go, 50% more nutrition from the food we're already eating is huge. Texas A&M was so shocked by the study that they went back and reran the study and got the same exact results, because they thought they had messed up somehow. They didn't think any food supplement could give you 50% more nutrition from the food you're already eating. The other one I want to talk about real quickly is carotenoid complex. I love the carotenoid complex. A lot of you guys would probably know what beta carotene is. Beta carotene is a carotenoid. It's from the bright colored pigments of fruits and vegetables. Beta carotene, if you get it in a supplement nowadays, it's usually a synthetic beta carotene where they have recreated it and it's synthetic. The problem is it was shown in a USDA study to actually lower immunity by 10 points. So not good for your health. Our carotenoids, on the other hand, there's over 100 carotenoids that are found in the human food chain. Those are all represented in our carotenoid complex, and they're rich antioxidants. They've been shown in a USDA study to boost immunity by 37.6%. That's mind-blowing to me, because right now, when the whole world's concerned about immunity, carotenoid complex is boosting immunity. They put 37, but it's actually 37.6% in 20 days. And that's mind-blowing to me. It also reduced oxidative damage to cells, which is cancers, tumors, those kinds of things, by over 44%. And it reduced plaque deposition in the arteries, which #1 cause of death out there is heart disease. It reduced plaque deposition in the arteries by over 500%. And this is a USDA study. And that blows my mind every time I think about that. USDA is not a real fan of nutrition, and yet they were completely blown away by the fact that it boosts immunity that much. There's nothing out there. There's no drug. There's nothing out there that boosts immunity. In fact, a lot of people, when they have autoimmune deficiencies, they suppress the immunity, which is not what you want to do, but they have no way to boost immunity. And so that's the method they choose. So really powerful tool we have. And when you think of COVID and all the other things that people are concerned about right now, who wouldn't want to put on that COVID bulletproof jacket by having stronger immunity? The other one I want to talk about real quick is salmon oil. Salmon oil is one of the most researched nutritionals out there. And the biggest concern with salmon oil is what's in it that you don't want, AKA mercury and all the different heavy metal toxins. In fact, what chemicals are they using to extract it? We have 2 optometrists here in Bend, Oregon, that can tell by looking at your eyes whether or not you're taking Costco's salmon oil. And the reason why is a film will start to build up on your eyes from the chemical they use to extract it. I think to myself, what is that doing to my 73 trillion cells? Like, that can't be a good long-term outcome. And why I love our salmon oil is it's tested for over 250 contaminants with a 0 parts per billion allowable detection. So no contaminants in there. You know you're not going to get any of the bad stuff. And more importantly, you're going to get all 8 parts of the salmon oil, which is powerful. Everybody's heard of the 2 parts of salmon oil, but there's actually 8 parts, and they have molecular differentiation technology that they use in order to make sure that every capsule has the right amount of salmon oil of each of the 8 parts. And the new research coming out showing the benefits of these other parts of the salmon oil are just off the charts. But one of the things I love about our salmon oil is it's actually the only salmon oil that Stanford uses for any of their studies, because what they found is the potency, purity, and accuracy is consistent every single time. And we work hand in hand with them on studies for brain development, Alzheimer's, dementia. My wife mentioned to somebody earlier about child development, the brain development from conception to 2 years of age. Your child's brain's going to develop more during that period than the rest of their life. I know mine's not been developing much lately, but that being said, we really want to get these kids saturated in the salmon oil. Dr. Don Lawson used to joke, you know, you're taking enough salmon oil if you dream you're swimming upstream. I don't think we need to take that much, but it is a good test. The other thing I'd like to talk about real quick is the multivitamin. For years, in fact, when I started taking Neolife, the AMA, American Medical Association, used to say, you get everything you need from the food you eat. You don't need to supplement. Well, most of you know they've reversed that statement. They're now recognizing that because of our processing and our modern diets, and the fact that we've been growing the same foods on the same soils and spraying with pesticides, herbicides, and what I like to call homicides, our foods are really stripped of the nutritional value they used to have. And so they're recognizing that we need to supplement. We need to fill that gap, that void that we have in our diet. And that nutritional supplement that's in with the other 3 rounds out to make a really power-packed vitamin supplement. It's your foundation, is what I call it, for living a well-lived life. I'd also like to talk real quick about protein. I know I'm burning through this, and I could go on forever on each product, and I'm trying to keep within a respectful time limit. But real quick, the salmon oil, just real quick, reduced inflammation by 68% in 8 weeks. And that was, some people had a lot of inflammation, some people have very little inflammation, but 68% reduction in inflammation. We're talking elasticity in your joints. We're talking any kind of inflammation, brain health. I know right now, anxiety and depression and brain fog are some of the biggest issues we have facing people right now. Really close friends of mine that are struggling with some really serious issues because of the fact that they aren't getting the inflammation in their brain down. And if they get on that salmon oil along with some vitamin B, we have seen people come off antidepressants, anxiety meds. In fact, the number one prescription right now is anxiety meds and antidepressants. So mental health is really, really important. It's a very serious issue. And salmon oil is just a massive tool in your wellness cabinet to help with that. But skipping over to the protein real quick, not all proteins are created equal. A lot of proteins out there, protein is amino acids. And a lot of proteins are 5 amino acids, 9 amino acids, 12 amino acids. We have all 22 amino acids in our protein, which is a full, complete amino acid, and it's highly digestible. A lot of proteins, you drink them and you get that gut bomb, or it tastes like chalk, and it's not very fun to drink anyway, let alone it doesn't work in your system, and it kind of bogs you down. I know a lot of people who won't drink a protein shake before they work out because it literally leaves them feeling like they've been punched in the stomach. And we have cross-country teams that will drink our protein before they go run a meet, and they're having exceptional results from it because it's so digestible. But what I also like about it is the glycemic control index. This is where they get really nerdy, and they make this protein in a way where it actually it controls your blood sugar, so you're not going hyperglycemic and then hypoglycemic, what we call the hyper and hypoglycemic roller coaster. It stabilizes that blood sugar. So for people who are diabetic, or even people who want to lose weight, just burn fat naturally, that is a super powerful tool in your kit. And we have people who type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, we've had them cut their insulin in half, some in a quarter. Amazing results. And I'm sure you guys have heard about the weight loss testimonies, just amazing. And then weight building, AKA muscle mass. We have people who want to, oh yeah, Chad's the picture of that. We have people who can totally put on the muscle with this protein too, because you think about every part of your body, your cells, your hair, your nails, everything is a different combination of amino acids. And so when you give your body all 22 amino acids, your body can reproduce those and build those anytime they want. It also creates the T cells to go out and fight any kind of virus you get exposed to. So a really amazing protein. I would like right now, because you could hear about the science, you could geek out on the science, that's where I like to live, but I'd like to share, or have Janice share a little bit about her story, because she has such amazing testimonies of how this product has changed her life, and just her being a product of the product. She's absolutely amazing. Janice, can you share real quick?
Sure. I just never get tired of hearing about Neolife because it has just been a wonder in my life, and all the reasons that Dwight said, that's why I feel so great. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Janice, and I'm 54 years old. I have 11 kids, and I've got 6 still at home, homeschooling mom. And moms out there, I don't know about you, but if you're a mom, we need high octane fuel. I need whatever is out there that is the best stuff that's going to energize me, because motherhood takes all that I've got. And so I was introduced to Neolife 20 years ago, and I was pregnant with my 5th daughter, and I was feeling just exhausted. I went to the health food store and I just looked at all the vitamins and felt overwhelmed. Who can I trust? What should I take? I have no idea. And I wasn't about to put my health into the clerk, the college clerk there who's working, and I'm sure doesn't know squat about the vitamins. Anyway, I left and was discouraged. I came home, I opened up a magazine. I really feel like this was divine. It was called Above Rubies. And I had a lady there share about the supplements that she has taken for years. And her kids looked radiant. She looked radiant, and she gave birth to 10 children with no spleen and 1 kidney. And I made it my mind right there. I'm like, I need to check this stuff out. Whatever she's taking, that's what I need to be taking. And so I brought it to my husband. I'm like, so what do you think about these supplements? He's like, oh, I'm going to find that dirt on this company, And so he goes to work, trying to find out everything about Neolife. And I come back a little while later, and he's just going, if this company, it can do what they say they can do, this is really the real deal. Like, there's no lawsuits on the company. They've been around for 60 years. And So anyway, I started to take the products and immediately noticed a big difference. And I cannot tell you how the reason why I take these every day is because they work. I would not be doing this 20 years later if I wasn't seeing a substantial result. And so I got on the product and just realized that, my whole family needs to be on it. The kids need to be on the product, and so I started taking it and just feeling more energy. And I can honestly tell you right now, I feel better now than probably when I was 25 years old.
She even looks better.
No, I'm not kidding. I was out, I just did a 3-mile run this afternoon. And I'm just like, I feel so good. Like, this is just wrong. I don't know why.
It's not wrong.
What is happening here?
It's not wrong.
But it's just amazing that, when people right now, we're going into winter, we're going into the 6th season, and there is no reason why everybody cannot be at their optimum health right now if we are taking the products that we need, if we're exercising, doing what our bodies need to do to create that energy. That's the way God designed us. He designed us to have energy. And when we put the right products in our body will heal itself so that we are energized. And so it's been so fun. I love sharing the products with my friends. They're always saying, so what do you take, And I'm like, you just got to take it. And then 2 months later, they're like, I had a friend send a picture of a bowl with all of her supplements. She said, Janice, I have been taking products my entire life, and I have not felt, I'm throwing them all in the trash, and all I'm going to use is Neolife, because in 2 months, I have experienced more health transformation than I have in all of these years. I had another girlfriend tell me that she goes, my biggest regret is that I didn't listen to you a year ago, because I finally feel like I'm back to myself. I feel like the brain fog has left. I feel energized again. And I actually feel like going out and exercising and, just being the mom that I have always wanted to be. So I can go on and on about, yeast infections. I used to get those every month. As long as I take the little Acidophilus Plus, I'm good. It keeps the pH of my stomach in great check, and I don't have those issues anymore. If I feel the hint of something coming on, a tickle in my throat, I'll take 4 Super C and 2 garlic every 3 hours. And the next day it's wiped out. It's gone. Because Neolife, the garlic that they have isn't just garlic. It's all the family of garlic that kills the nasty stuff that's in your body. So it's like leeks and onions and everything that goes into it. And so anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So did
You're
you have
awesome.
something?
You're awesome.
Yeah, I wanted to chat, if you could share some. I know that you came in with your arms, barred, and I've seen you over the last 20 years completely rave about the product. So what do you have to say?
When Janice came to me, I was very hesitant because there are a million different companies out there hyping different products, and a lot of them start with a big marketing dream and then try to find something to sell, and they're very suspect, and they get into trouble with regulatory environments. They get into trouble making false claims. They get into all this these spaces they don't belong. And I had come across some of those in the past, and especially network marketing companies. And so I was very reticent. And yet again, having kind of just did some some preliminary diving into the fact that these people that run this company, and now it's so fun 20 years later, knowing the owners of the company, knowing the way they operate, knowing their integrity, knowing their seriousness about the science that they do, knowing that they're probably the worst marketing company in the world, or else everybody would know about it. They're just really great at the science, they're really great at making good products. And delivering on their promise to their customers. But I was reticent. And yet, having done that research, I said, well, I see enough to try. And Janice, again, was so on the front edge of this and said, honey, take this. I had my own health crises when I was young and early married. I was flat on my back. I diagnosed chronic fatigue, adrenal failure, shot. Literally, Janice is going, who did I marry? What am I going to do with this guy? He's not able to get up and go, and his get up and go got up and went or something. Anyways, all that being said, I started to see this profound shift in my own health, energy, and particularly immunity. I'm the guy who growing up got everything. Cold, bug, flu, didn't matter. If it came through, I got it. I didn't know at the time that it takes two things to get somebody sick. It takes a bug or a germ, and they're everywhere, and they're going to be there all the time. It doesn't matter whether it's COVID and Rona and all these other things or something else, they're out there. And you need to be a susceptible host. And I didn't realize that I had been cultivating this a lifestyle and habits of being a susceptible host. One of the things that Neolife has done for me over the last 20 years is I feel like it's given me a bulletproof foundation for my health. Now, we don't treat, we don't cure, we don't diagnose, we're not doctors, but what we do know is that whole food nutrition, if just like great food, we know that if we eat lots of raw vegetables and fruits and, and good healthy grains and all these things, our body benefits. And Neolife fills those gaps. And when it does, all of a sudden, people are, I get around and they're sick and they're like, oh, Chad, no, don't hold my hand, shake my hand, don't hug me, whatever. I'm like, whatever, give me a hug. I'm not afraid of your bugs. I'm been given this gift of strength and vitality and energy. And so I say all that to say today, having witnessed my personal transformation, Janice's transformation, and so many others, it's with utter confidence that I can look at any person and say, look, if you're faithful to get on Neolife and take it daily, and it is daily, and you're faithful, and get up and move your body and drink good water and lay off some of the bad stuff and do some of these things, in 90 days, you're going to call me, if not before, and you're going to say, I'm witnessing my own personal health transformation. And I don't know what the underlying causes or diseases or issues you might have. Everything from blood pressure issues, diabetic blood sugar type issues, health, weight loss type issues, energy, immunity, autoimmune type stuff. People that come to us and go, I've tried everything. Those are the ones I love the most. I really do. I sit there and Denise and I get excited and we're like, oh, how awesome. You tried everything. Now try this. Because if you're faithful, we're going to see a transformation. As a paramedic in my early career, I would go into people's homes and we would ask, are you on any medications? And they would show up with a shoebox full of 6 to 10 to 12, sometimes 2 shoeboxes. And these are people in their 30s and their 40s, prescription medications. And it's such a joy to not only be at the ages we are, because we're really young and healthy and vivacious, but to know people who are old people, right? Who are 85. I'm not talking about you, Janice Erickson, you're one of us, but the older people, 85 years old, like my father, who has just an abundance of energy, will load 2 tons of hay onto a trailer and drive it to somebody and load it in her barn and then come home and doesn't think he worked out for the day, right? And is
my mom, who's 91.
Yeah.
Doesn't take a single medication either.
That's right. Neither of them are on medications. So it's such a blessing, right? To be able to see that. And so anyways, all that being said, the joy that we get to experience in our own life and health, but the even maybe greater privilege now to share it one at a time with other people in our life is a real blessing. Dwight, thank you for asking.
Hey, thank you so much. And it's so fun to watch when people put it in their mouth, the transformation that happens. And what I love is the fact that you said, I've been to companies where they talk about things and they go, oh, you can eat Twinkies and McDonald's, you're fine as long as you take the supplement. And that's a bunch of hogwash. You need to drink water. You need to sleep at night. Those are 2 things I don't do enough of: sleep and drink water. Exercise and cut out the bad stuff, eat the good stuff. But Neolife is that catalyst in my life that helped me have the energy. And we just heard this weekend from Dr. John Miller, amazing information about the science and research that blew my mind. But also there was a guy who was talking about his weight loss journey, tried every yo-yo diet on the planet, couldn't do anything. And he had an injured arm, so he couldn't even work out starting the Neolife program. He's already down 35 pounds and he's got so much mobility. I joke about the side effects of Neolife. The side effects is you start doing it for weight loss and all of a sudden you have mobility, your heart, your blood pressure is better, your cholesterol measurements are better, your joint are better. Those are the side effects with Neolife. And he goes, now I can actually work out. And so Neolife was that vehicle that got him back on track to where he can start living that more optimal life. But once again, they aren't going to do you any good unless you put them in your mouth. Dr. Arthur First said that over and over again. So I want to hand it over to Marilee real quick. She's going to show you real quickly how to get on the product. A lot of you I know already know how to order the product, and some of you are on the product. But for anybody who wants to know how to share it with other people or get themselves on the product. She's going to show you real quickly. Go, babe.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go real quick here and I always do this. Hang on.
I was in your way.
That's all right. You're gonna go to shopneolife.com. If whoever invited you to this call, if you want to go ahead and ask them to send a link for you to order. Sorry, I'm trying to get out of this. Hang on here. I could listen to Chad and Janice talk forever. Do you guys want to say one more testimony real quick? Janice, do you have any testimonies on ADHD or anything like that? We had a question about that earlier.
She doesn't know anybody that has ADHD.
Her husband.
Nobody.
Well, I know the salmon oil is a great brain food, and I know it helps the nerves, and it's good for seizures. I have a cousin. As long as she takes 6 salmon oil a day, she doesn't have her seizures. But when she gets off that, then she has seizures again. So I just can't say enough about the salmon oil. Salmon oil is also like a happy food. They call it the happy pill. People that are dealing with depression, which there are a lot of people right now coming out of COVID, that is one of the symptoms or after effects of that. But taking like 3B complex and 6 salmon oil, super helpful.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Janice. And the other thing I was going to mention about ADHD is protein, because like we were talking about balancing blood sugars, that's a really good one to help with balancing the blood sugars. But here's the website for how to order, shopneolife.com. Ask the person who brought you to this for their link. And this is where you can get more information on the page about the difference between Neolife and other products. Dwight mentioned a lot of those things. His clinical studies are on there. If you want to take a deep dive, that's where you head. Dwight was talking about the Pro Vitality, the Vitality Pack. This is the basic starter pack. This is where we start. This is a 1-month supply of the supplements with the 4 supplements that Dwight talked about. And this over here on the left, you see the breakfast pack. That is the Pro Vitality with 2 shakes, which is enough to last you for 1 full month if you were to take 1 protein shake a day. And obviously, again, like we said, you don't have to have the protein just if you're weight loss or just if you're trying to build muscle. I took these protein shakes every single day when I was pregnant. We have a great supply or great need for protein. So protein is awesome. It's a great place to start the breakfast pack. Of course, if you want to lose weight, they recommend grabbing the weight loss pack, which is enough shakes for 2 shakes a day for a full month. And we also have the sport pack, which is great for if you have extra needs for protein or energy. So those are the 4 packs that we recommend you start on. There's a lot of other products that we've touched on. I'll show you where you can add those. We also have a wonderful skincare program, home cleaning products. And if you scroll down here to the bottom, we're going to talk about joining as a club member. This is an awesome program, 100% money back guarantee. The program also gives you, it's totally free. It's like a Costco membership where you can join, and there is no yearly fee or anything like that, but it's like a membership where you can purchase for discount and you get between 15 and 30% off of the products. So we recommend everyone start there. So we're just going to go ahead and click on become a club member. You do get that free website as well. I'm going to go as fast as I can here so we're not on here too long. The first thing that you're going to want to do is select your health pack of those 4 health packs that we talked about. I'm going to go ahead and get the breakfast pack, and you'll see your pricing right here. There's a member price, but as a club member, you get a discount. So we're going to talk about that here. I'm going to pick what shake you want. The vanilla is incredible. You can even add it to your oatmeal. You can add it as a baking mix. The vanilla is so versatile and really delicious, even mixed with just plain old water. I love chocolate. I pretty much do a chocolate shake every single day, so got to add that one too. So you see here the today's order is clicked here. You're going to get the breakfast pack in the order. Also, auto ship is clicked as well. If you want to add your product and keep it on auto ship, we highly recommend this because you want to have consistency with your products and you want to make sure they arrive on time. So if you go ahead and select that, that is the best option. There are perks to auto ship, including every dollar that you spend on shipping for 6 months, you earn back in free product dollars. So you could earn $40, $50, $60 in free products at the end of 6 months. So it's extremely beneficial to have a product on auto ship. If you have 1 product on auto ship, all of your products get a full discount up to 25 to 30% off. So that's the way you get the best discount. Have your product on auto ship and you're good to go. You get the full discount. So I'm going to add that, and you'll see other products will load here for you to choose from. We've talked about a lot of products, the endurance, the magnesium, Super C, garlic. There are a plethora of products, the skincare products that you can add extra of any of the 4 supplements that are in the Pro Vitality as well. And you just go ahead and add those to your order today or into this auto ship column if you want to make sure you get those on a monthly basis. Scroll down to the bottom, or you can look in all these categories, click on next, and you pretty much put your information in from there and you're good to go. So that's where you get started. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, Dwight.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We want to be respectful of your time. I know you probably now have more questions than you did before we started, because if you're like me, the more you dive in, the more questions you have. But the cool thing is there's a whole arsenal of supplements that can help you in every situation. And so feel free to reach back out, ask more questions. If you guys need to bail off the call, I recommend get on the product, put it in your mouth, get feeling better. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask any questions you may have. If we don't know the answers, we'll be very honest and tell you we don't know the answer. But any questions you might have, Chad, you were raising your hand.
See the one in the chat, there was a question about autism. Is there any known benefit or, testimonies or, kind of proven product programs for autism?
I would go over to Wisdom Builders for the proven product program part of it, because there are, like I said, medical professionals that have really done a deep dive on this. I know that there are definitely things we can do to help. Once again, saying we could do anything to make it go away, I would never make that claim. But anything we could do to help with inflammation in the brain and help with supporting a healthy anybody's immune system, the better. And so can there be an upside from the products on autism? Absolutely. We've had some amazing results, but every child is unique and different. Janice,
I was just going to say, you always want to start with the Pro Vitality and the shake. That's foundation for any health issue that you have. And then with autism, I would suggest, salmon oil, adding salmon oil to it.
Definitely. And one more, somebody mentioned earlier, the ADHD, which we kind of laughed about it because, if they were labeling people with that stuff back when I was a kid, I know I would have been ADHD. My brother Chad definitely would have been right there with me. I call it healthy male syndrome. It's very normal in entrepreneurs. In fact, there's a guy who did research for 30 years on ADHD, and there was another guy who taught entrepreneurs for 30 years. And when they were having lunch together, they realized they were talking about the same group of people. So I jokingly say there's nothing wrong with people who have ADHD. Don't riddle in them. Just get them the Treanin. That's a huge foundation. We found over and over in the studies that Treanin is massively beneficial. And then on top of that, get them outside, get them burning calories, get them exercising, get them active. If I get stuck in a classroom for 8 hours, my ADHD flares up like you can't believe. I call it healthy male syndrome. We got to get outside. We got to be active. We got to do life. So yes, there are different levels of it, just like with the dyslexia or any of these things, there's different levels of it. But I think we were all fearfully and wonderfully made. And I happen to have some dyslexia and I love it. It's come to my advantage many, many times. And I just say, we look at the world differently. And that's okay. If you guys got kids with dyslexia, embrace it. I know it's going to be a little harder to teach them the normal school route, but I look at normal school and I joke about it. It's kind of like teaching a fish to climb a tree or a monkey to swim. You got to learn what their strengths are and then focus on those strengths. So I'm better at climbing trees than I am at swimming. Everybody has their own unique ability. Any other questions? I see Chad, you reading something.
Yeah, there's another comment around what do you recommend for the kiddos? Take VitaGuard, VitaSquares, and LiquiVite for my kiddos, but I'm not sure how much to give or when. They're 2, 5, and 7. One of my kiddos has some behavioral issues and I want to help him out.
Yeah, no, those are awesome. We tend, and once again, it depends kind of your family. We tend to kind of leave the LiquiVite in the fridge and the kids know where it is. And sometimes we burn through it a whole lot faster than we should. We're like, dude, calm down. But they literally will just go over there, and they used to put it in the spoon. Now they just go right in the mouth. You're not going to OD on it. That's the thing I love. You'll never OD on salmon oil, never OD on any of these products. But that being said, it comes down to a budget too. You got to cut them off if they're draining your bank account faster than you can fill the bank account.
I want to mention something about children because our kids just love the nutrition. I do let the kids about 2 teaspoons a day though.
Well, they do a lot more.
And the big boys will just guzzle it. But I love the Liquivite. It has the Treonin in there as well as flavonoids. So it's a great supplement for anybody, even adults who don't want to swallow. You can just take the Liquivite. So it's great. That's a foundation for our kids. And then between 1 and 3 salmon oil a day. 3 salmon oil is about a tablespoon of oils. And I think that's a great foundation for children, brain development, and just, no anxiety. They're just like very well nourished. And then we add carotenoids. The kids will take between 1 and 3 carotenoids a day, depending on their age. But I mean, I don't think there's a formula. You just give them as much nourishment as you can or as you can afford. And it's just more nourishment is basically what it is. And like we have the chewable all C's. As they get older, the kids start swallowing the Super C if they want. But the chewable all C's where we go.
And one of the things I want to throw on top of that, I've had so many people that try to save money by going to Costco, and it just breaks my heart because they'll be having massive gains, and then all of a sudden they try to save a little money, and next thing you know, the gains just disappear and they fall off the edge. And I tell people, if you could just give them 1 salmon oil versus 3, 1 salmon oil is better than going and buying an inferior salmon oil that's got mercury and all these other hazmats in them. I mean, it reminds me of when I went to the health food store when I was trying to get my health back, and I asked the wonderful person behind the counter, which vitamin E should I take? And she goes, well, take this one, it's natural. Little did I know, and little did she know, that it was not natural. It was actually from petroleum. It had a little L next to the D, which is delta, and the L is the insignificant for synthetic petroleum alpha tocopherol. And most people out there are taking DL alpha tocopherol when they go to the health food store. And we have all 8 parts. We have the alpha, beta, delta, gamma tocopherol, and then we also have the tocotrienols. And we have the whole family there, and it's water miscible, which means it's going to absorb into the body. And the research coming out on just the gamma tocotrienols is mind-blowing. It makes the delta look like it's pathetic. And so you put these things in combination the way we find it in nature, and all of a sudden we're getting benefits that we never got before. And so I really want to encourage 1 salmon oil, 1 vitamin E, 1 carotenoid is so much more powerful than trying to get it from another source where it's a synthetic beta carotene shown in that USDA study and shown in the Finland smoking study to actually jeopardize your immune system. Sorry, Chad, did I go nerdy?
No, use some really big words. Sorry about
that.
It was good. No, it was good. Hey, I think just because of time, I'm seeing some other questions. Liz threw one in the chat as well around soy, and maybe we can answer that one, and then we're going to wrap it up. Here's the deal, guys. I think it's super important. We do this every Tuesday night. We want to invite you, if you know somebody who you think might benefit from being on the call or might have some questions of their own or benefit from hearing this information, to invite them back. We just want to see people, one person alive, one life at a time, transformed moment by moment by these things. So Dwight, real quick, hit soy, give it a 30-second boom, and then we'll wrap.
I'd love to. Soy is actually one of my favorites because there's been a lot of misinformation on soy, and it goes all the way back to the Weston Price, which Weston Price was an amazing researcher, a great person, but he kind of got his whole website held hostage by some fanatics for a while. We know that estrogen levels in chicken and beef and a lot of modern farming was on the rise massively, and they had to find a scapegoat. So they actually go, well, soy's loaded with estrogen, soy's evil, soy's bad. And I'd like to say real quick, most soy in the US, I agree with them. It's genetically modified. It's not even soy. It should be called Frankenstein soy. It's been genetically modified by Monsanto's, and it's been shown to cause cancers and all kinds of things. It's not a good product. But real soy, which is a staple in India and China and all these other places where they have reduced levels of estrogen, they have reduced levels of cancers, is a very beneficial staple to their diet. And so when I look at soy and we look at the research on it, for years they were misunderstanding it. they actually have a phytonutrient that mimics estrogen. And so they thought it had estrogen in it. It doesn't. Plants don't have estrogen. Plants don't have estrogen, but they have a phytonutrient that mimics estrogen in order to regulate the estrogen in your body. And so when people are taking large amounts of soy in their diet, which is a great source of protein and other nutrients, it actually regulates and balances the estrogen levels, which also reduce cancers, breast cancers and things like that. So a lot of research being done right now coming out with the benefits of soy. And for years, 20 years, I kept arguing with the scientific advisory board, just take soy out because it's such a controversial issue. And I'm so glad they didn't, because they were right all along, and they stick to the science. Like Chad said, world's worst marketers, but they stick to the science and they do the right thing. And so I'm completely ecstatic that they've kept that soy, because it's such a beneficial plant, been a benefit to people all over the country. A lot of people say, well, no, the soy they eat, it's fermented and it's in small quantities. That's not true. I've talked to people from India, from China, and they're like, no, it's 50% or more of our diet. It's a staple. It's like, wheat over here in America. So I hope that answers some of the questions on soy. I know there's probably more questions, and I'd love to answer them when we have a chance. Janice.
Just real quick, they came out this last year with a non-soy protein shake for those. It's plant-based. So anyway, if people just can't get their head wrapped around that, they can have that as well.
Yeah, it's completely vegan, and it is only 21 amino acids, not 22. And the reason why is that last amino comes from animals. They can't find it in plants anywhere. So that one, but it is a great source for protein, because we know that vegans, one of the struggles is getting enough protein in their diet. So really important.
Dairy free too, in case people.
It has to be if it's vegan.
Right. Oh, that makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys, for coming.
Thanks so much. Hope to see some of you next week. And again, invite a friend. Blessings.